In this video we're going to talk about the nature of where this place is and the universe, and we're going to find out that it's actually quite a simple thing that the ancient philosophers could not possibly have known how it was working, because they didn't have access to what we know now. Now we'll start off by just taking an ordinary human intelligent approach, and we'll just try to work out from what we can see without any kind of science what this place is, and we can see how difficult it is. So it would seem like a good idea to say there's our universe and it's in nothing. Don't you agree that that's quite a good start? God, something, created this universe in nothing. Well, that model is actually, if you think about it for more than a few minutes, you think, hang on, there's something wrong here. For example, if this is nothing, could we actually go into nothing and look back at our universe like that? Well, if we did try and get out of our universe into this dark space here, we'd disappear down to zero. Because I've just said this is nothing. It's like an infinitely small point, and I've drawn it in a kind of spread out way. There's nothing at all here, which means there's no space even. You can't get into here because you'd have no size. I've just said it's nothing, it's no size at all. So you couldn't even get from the universe into there. It's like having a point all the way around our universe. Well, that's a bit ridiculous too, isn't it? And you say, well, what size is our universe? Well, it's from this point here in nothing to that point there in nothing. Well, what's that distance? There's no measurements or coordinates, so we can't even say it's got a size. Could you put two universes in here of two? Well, no, because you ask the question, well, where are they? Where is this universe? The other one would be a bit above it. Sure, but there's no above in nothing. This area here hasn't got a location. There's no coordinates or anything to say where that is. So you can't put another universe in there. I'm not trying to confuse you. What I'm trying to do is to point out that if you've been thinking about this and you've come up with it's too difficult, well, you're right. You're dead right, because it's kind of absurd. With the information we've got about universe and nothing, it's kind of absurd to try and make a universe like this, in this way. Likewise, it's equally absurd if we take an infinite universe. That throws up a lot of ridiculous absurdities, which in another video I'll go into all of them. But in this one, for example, you could say this infinite universe never had a beginning, and it will never have an end in time or distance. Well, ho ho, it never had a beginning in time. Okay, let's get a think about that. What that means, if it never had a beginning at all, it wasn't created, because it was always there. So it means if there is a God, or anything that made our universe, it didn't, because it was always there. So it's beginning to throw up absurdities, and believe me, there's more absurdities to an infinite universe. And the ancient philosophers really spent a lot of time grappling with these two types of universe, and they did get a long way in kind of listing what was the absurdities and exactly why. So they did actually use intelligence to make us more informed about why these two universes are probably not correct. And then they kind of guessed at a few other ones. Pythagoras, I thought, had the best guess, and Plato, pretty good guess as well. But they did leave behind a lot of philosophical junk that is in our everyday language. You know, nature abhors a vacuum, determinism, have you got free will or haven't you? Potential energy goes back to Aristotle, and the origin of that is pretty absurd too. So please carry on with these videos, and you'll see that it is not difficult at all. Knowing what we do now, the origin of all this is actually quite simple, and the poor old philosophers were making it far more difficult than it really is.